Hello! So yeah, I'm back. Woo. Where are these white rabbit gone? So it has been such a while indeed, and I never stopped wanting to share things with you or even create, but I kind of struggled with balancing my personal life and art and work, and also balancing and finding time to my work about writing book about photography in French, and this work for you with creating video and art and mini palette and inspiring things, through YouTube and Patreon and such. So I thought the best way to come back would be to offer this kind of a year in my journal slash sketchbooks and what I have been created in 2022, because finally this year is almost gone, and that's crazy. And I have been experimenting with quite a lot of format and binding and styles of journals, so I thought it would be interesting to share this with you. Even if nothing is perfect, it's pretty unfinished everywhere, so that's pretty annoying to me, but at the same time there are some pieces and some art experiment that I really like, and I am really looking forward to sharing with you just now. So let's start with the beginning. In one of my previous video I showed you this kind of journal slash sketchbook, which I start at the end of 2021, and so the beginning of 2022 is somewhere over the rainbow, somewhere in here. I can't tell the date. Yeah, this is 2 January. And still work in progress, unfinished. So this is the start of 2022, and if you want to have a peek of this sketchbook, you can check the video that I will put a bit of the link in here with the little eye. And so after this sketchbook, I kept going with this choice of using bullet journaling with high enough quality paper. So I think it's 160 or something, so the little dots are quite handy for writing in several directions, and the thick enough paper allows me to do collage and sketches at the top. And also you will see that I have been experimenting during all this year with adding a bit of kind of this interaction with a sketchbook, where you can move things around, creating pockets, and also this allows you, if you want to use another paper or just adding some content, to just add a page with watercolor paper or something. So here is the flip through of this journal. So this one starts in February, and of course I'm not going to comment every page. I am going sometimes to talk about the overall approach or content, and at some other point just letting you enjoy the content with a bit of music. So in north of France we have a lot of memorials of Canadian and American, especially Canadian cemetery, of sadly famous battles of the First World War. So this was a bit of a visit where I kind of put together a bit of quick sketching and a few photos and kind of historic content, alternating with family stuff and friend stuff. There are things that we never draw, so it's always a fun challenge for me to try to find things that we never draw, kind of this kind of game. And this is a memorial visits again that we did with friends. I added the watercolor later. I quite really like the ink and wash look on this. Hopefully the light on the sketchbook is a nice adds a nice mood and won't disturb you. So cute. Also toys and plushies are also really nice thing that we can use. So once again I am so kind of annoyed that so many pages are unfinished. I need to find a really special solution for this, so let's brainstorm about this. Wrapping paper, a few doodles for the memory of this birthday. Always fun to sketch my cat. This is Rosie. So I have been adding more collage and stamping things because it's relaxing and it adds a bit of life, and I like to pick, you know, the ephemera and use them in my sketchbooks. So this is a painting that I did afterwards, after a photo. In here, a collage, so a bit of combining marker and collage to evoke this spring atmosphere. And now it's fall. Ooh, Valentine's Day atmosphere that I worked on for my Patreon, travel atmosphere. I have been creating stickers from my art. This was so fun to do. And it's also so exciting to have wildlife all around the house. Too much stickers, but that's so much fun. March. So some pages have sometimes not that much interest visually and are more like journal pages. Oh, this is the cutest water pot I ever found that I am using currently. So I found several colors, and it's double side water pot. It's just the best, and with a rabbit, of course. So I was saying that some pages are more like journaling, but not that interesting, and some other one, of course, are more with the sketchbook feeling and drawing in here with kind of shiny markers, just to experiment with more with more supplies. So annoying. Maybe I can just glue through these pages that are empty. So this is all a bit of the work I was doing for my Patreon with artsy pack and stuff, and also all the family, walking around and life. Cute gift that we made DIY with the kids, and also once again family atmosphere with a fine liner in here. Yes, this is gardening. In here I have been using stamps and adding some colors to have this cute characters in my pages. I also like to use more, nice, lovely pattern papers. And this is a technique I have been using sometimes when your spread looks too busy, or maybe the two sides don't seem to go together. You can, add a bit of a page in the middle, and this way it kind of simplify or kind of gets better with the setting of both sides. So this was all the spring atmosphere. Like sometimes just this kind of doodling pages rather than doing always the full page. Experiment with the colors to create my mini palette. Growing apple trees. We got 2 apples to eat this year. It was a nice start. Experimenting with reds to once again work on my mini palettes. I really like also to do this kind of collage with vintage papers and also, brown papers with lovely pattern. I think it's kind of a nice middle ground with vintage, but also look more modern. And I put a bit of the writing in the middle for this journaling pages. In here I stamped on a vellum paper, which looks nice also to create a bit your own pattern in here. This one maybe looks a bit moody. Experimenting with pigments, granulating pigments once again. I also started to use some more brush markers At some point I thought the brush marker were bad because you can see, you know, the lines when you sketch and everything, but then I realized that it could be a strength, so maybe it could be a nice things to talk about. So in here, sketching forsythia flowers with marker. So of course the marker are not so great to make backgrounds or large areas, but for small thing I think it can be nice, and you could work on you know, your watercolor approach through markers when you have time to think about it without any drying times or something. In here I worked with acrylic markers, a Posca pen on green paper to kind of study the same subject but with a different technique. So in here some collage with plant labels and photos, and we keep going. I'm just realizing I am chatting and chatting and talking and talking. Maybe that's too much talking, so let's put a bit of music to enjoy the following. So this was my special mini palette using the Volcano Red, granulating red by Schminke. So let's keep browsing this journal slash sketchbooking. Watercolor, ink, pencils, rainbow pencil, collage dried flowers, hiding stuff can be sometimes fun. It's a bit like a surprise when you browse your sketchbook again. This was a bit of a trip, so I bought kind of a fun vintage-like postcard, and I didn't really like this sketch, so I kind of hide it partly to keep a bit of the spirit, but not having it showing through too much. And this is unfinished as well. I quite like how I glued this minimalist sketch on a pattern background. Postcard again, and a kind of visiting card or thing, ephemera that I pick here and there. So we can tell that at the end of the sketchbook it's a bit like I really didn't have time to finish all of this. What a shame. Oh, this wet in wet bleeding of watercolor. It's quite fun. Like the granulation and the watery effect. So another minimalistic approach, but with wet in wet watercolor. Ink. Postcard. I'm so sorry I am showing you this mess, but let's be real. Journaling and sketchbooking, I have sometimes some struggles. In here I put a bit of, you know, these little papers so that if I want to add a note something, I could just pick them in here, and it works quite well. So here it is for the following of this one, and now we arrive at the end of March with this following sketchbook. Woohoo! Let's keep browsing through my colors, writing, sketches, and creative mess. Pattern paper, stamps, cutie cats, I think. I'm going to browse on music again. from my video about Easter and creating a pattern with my own watercolor for Easter. And sketching with Sakura clip vintage pens, which are really cool. Like this minimalistic approach, and always tends to add too much thing. It would just need a bit of a lettering in here to show the context, and sometimes that's it. Trying to sketch moving dogs. Wow, not that easy. And so I just told you previously that I started to sketch and experiment more with brush pens. So at the same time, Faber-Castell brush pen that exists in kind of a nice color, you know, not too bright, because if you want to use markers, and this is all red, yellow and such, it's difficult to get, but with all these hues, bit of a subtle hues and also lighter one, it's so nice to sketch, and also using a few Tombow brush markers as well. If you're interested in any approach like sketching with my brush markers or everything, please tell me, because I would have so much things to share, and in a sense that's why I'm not sharing that much, which is a shame. So these are some brush markers pieces that I have done kind of using my watercolor approach, you know, negative painting and such. So I really like this, it was really soothing, and I think the result is full of light and a nice spring atmosphere. Still brush marker. Heading to Paris. Another brush marker sketch from the train. Oops. Kind of folding pages in here with a map. So I was going to the Salon du Livre, book salon, to to show my books about photography to more people. It is the Institut de France. This is from another artist. We were meeting artists in the salon that was doing books about art. This is me on the salon, and I was giving these photos from India to people to kind of promote my book about photography and have a bit of a gift for the people. This is just something I added, it's not in the thing I was giving to people. The metro. And this is a Eiffel Tower, really quick sketch that I did also with the brush markers. So I thought I wouldn't have time, you know, to do maybe the watercolor, and because it's juicy and wet, it would have been maybe everywhere. You know, you can't add the dark touches if the lighter shape is not dry, something. So that's why I thought this brush marker approach is fun, and I think this can work really well like a thumbnail, a study of the scene, and that I could paint afterwards if I want to with watercolor, but I am more interested in the sketchbook approach, you know, the spontaneous moment. So it was so fancy to be at this salon, you know, with the Eiffel Tower view and such, with other artists. So this is a manga artist that made me this drawing in the sketchbook. It's from her. This is so nice. Thank you so much. Artistic photography of my trip in Paris. Always like to create in several kind of ways. Gluing, photographing, everything. Yeah, always so happy to share this moment with Jeremy. This is kind of a digital watercolor that I created from a sketch I did. Yeah, this is my white rabbit, kind of bathing in a cup of tea that you could also use to paint. I think it's fun and a nice depiction of my my mood, my land, my wonderland. So this is a bit more true to the original sketch, and keep creating stickers, and yeah, trying to save this cute little bird, kind of a artistic collage from magazines, inspirational stuff. Really loose watercolor on this smooth paper with my sword liner, so really juicy and really difficult to control, and I like lots of the freshness of the result. So here once again the stickers I created for Easter. So I decided, a bit sadly, but to stop the Happy Mail project on Patreon for now. But I have a new project in store for this end of year that you may be interested about, because it will be not only for my Patreon but for everybody. So this is once again a kind of artistic collage, a bit like this of the snow flowers, you know. This is something I should keep in mind. You can have everything you want, but not at the same time. I always want to fill the time with too much things and doing everything at the same time. And well, nice walk in our village, and yeah, fitting a few sketches, brush marker of the tamaris tree. We went to a football match together just to have fun, and so I did a few photos. Really like to see the pheasants in the countryside, and I think this sketch is quite true to what I like. Simple enough, with nice great colors and value contrast, a few splatters. Kind of the daydreaming illustration experiment with a cute white rabbit and bluebells. Resist thing experiments, and yeah. In here, using a bit of resist on the sketch, it turned out quite weird. So this is it for part 1. In part 2, I will have the chance to share with you a bit of the following. Hopefully I will like to keep moving on during this year with me, with May, June, July.